Hello, everyone. Voiceover Bun coming in hot here to walk you through this cute and quick little project that I did recently, and I'm gonna give you the whole backstory because it's kind of a weird one. This is an interesting situation. One of the reasons why I decided to document this little project is because I almost never work on substrates like this. I am always in a book. I'm always in a sketchbook. I'm in an art journal. I just am never on like a singular piece of paper or a singular canvas. So I thought this might be interesting to sort of document. So in my town, which I'm not going to say, obviously, I'm not going to like dox myself here. In my town, they happen to have a little gallery show, an art show that they're doing, where basically you come to our little local library and you pick up one of these little canvases, and anyone can participate. It's all ages. You pick up this little canvas and you had a week basically to do anything that you wanted to this canvas. And then you would submit it. It was actually a juried show. You would submit it. You'd be notified if your piece got selected. There was no particular theme or anything like that. There were some rules, which I'll get into a little bit later. And then, of course, if your piece was selected, it was going to be part of the little gallery show. I'm doing gallery in air quotes, a gallery show that would be in our little library. And then at the end of the show, the pieces would basically be raffled off to the participants who submitted a canvas. So essentially it became like an art trade at the end of it, where you would not get your original piece of artwork back. You would get another artist's little canvas instead. So knowing that going into it, I wanted to create something that I was not going to be attached to and that I was not going to put a lot of time in. I didn't want to go full send, like my art journaling stuff on this where it takes me forever to finish, knowing that I was never going to get the piece back. Or certainly, that the piece was not even going to be sold or available for sale. Another artist was just going to get it. So that had me kind of taking a pause for a moment of like, okay, what am I going to do on this thing? For starters, you can see that I did a little collage of just old book pages. And that was me sort of playing with that idea of knowing, hey, this is going to be in my local art gallery, or in my local library is where the little gallery was going to be shown. So I wanted to play on that and create a foundation or background of just really simple, neutral book pages, which, hey, that's always a good way to go. And with mixed media stuff in general, especially just with art journaling, just like a neutral layer of ephemera is always really great. The next thing, knowing that this was going to go to another artist, is that I thought it might be fun to do some sort of illustration or artwork on it that another artist would appreciate. And I was trying to picture this as like a little inspirational canvas that would be sitting in someone's workspace or sitting at their little desk. And I've been playing with these designs of these like creative juices, and you will see them soon in a future studio vlog probably, where I have a whole new line of sticker designs coming out, and they're kind of like this, but this was one of the designs that I didn't end up using. It ended up being a little bit too small, and I wasn't like completely in love with the shape of the box. It's still a cute design, and I've been treating them like what you're watching here, this sort of like watercolor tie-dye thing. I'm really hot on this. I've been doing this a while. This is like my current trend that I'm doing like crazy. So this was a remnant sticker design that I wasn't going to be using. I feel like it was kind of fun. While there was also no theme to the art show, they had a lot of rules regarding the content. I couldn't have any sort of gore. It couldn't be like scary. It couldn't be violent. It had to be pretty family friendly. So that obviously really pigeonholes me because, as you guys know, a lot of my artwork tends to be, a little on the spooky side. So my first thought when I had read about this, show and wanting to submit a little piece was that I was going to do one of my classic, like, bananas with guts. That's what I wanted to do. And I wanted to paint directly onto the canvas. I was going to do a cracked open banana with guts spilling out and entangled all over the canvas, like spilling over the edges and all sorts of stuff, which, hey, maybe I will still do that. Just because the idea is in my head and I want to execute it. So maybe I will go get a little canvas, although I think I have some around here somewhere. Get a little canvas and just do that anyways. But I knew I couldn't do that for this art show. There's no way that my piece would have been selected. So that really eliminates things. I, of course, love doing limbs, right? I love doing chopped off arms and legs and fingers and stuff. Couldn't do that. So I went with this, and it felt nice too, because it was like, this was a design that I had. I was doing this technique a lot. So I was able to like really repurpose it. And again, I was thinking about how this would end up, on someone else's desk. Like it felt like a good giveaway piece and kind of fun and bright and colorful. And it felt very like spring to me. I don't know. I'm in the midst of a color renaissance right now where I'm just like, I want all of the bright colors all of the time, and I want to mash them all together in a crazy watercolor tie-dye. But anywho, I had debated doing this directly onto the canvas. I was going to paint with like heavy-bodied white paint and then try to watercolor on top of it, but decided I wanted to have a really crisp, clean illustration instead. So I went ahead and did the illustration on a separate chunk of watercolor paper, which you've been watching me illustrate here. I did the watercolor is with the core watercolors in the back, and then did some outlining with just some liquid acrylic ink, and then I used a pen as well, just a fine liner, to finish up some of the text work, just to get it done quick. I didn't want to spend a lot of time on this. This is like, just get her done was kind of my general approach on this. It's just with, I have so much other stuff going on. I didn't want to be putting a lot of time into something that, again, I knew if it got selected, I was not going to be getting back. To play a little bit more on the mixed media element of things, I decided to kind of come back in with a pencil and a colored pencil and just circle some of the text, the words in the background, just to add a little bit more detail. Even if it ends up getting covered up, I'm a big fan of, authentic layers. If you've taken any of my online classes, this is something that I talk about a lot, is that even if something is going to get buried, even if just a little tiny bit of it peeks out, for me, it's still worth it, because it creates that layer of media that you wouldn't have otherwise been able to accomplish. You know what I mean? This will make sense in a moment when I start like circling things. And then you'll see me add paint a little bit later, because I wanted the juice box to kind of just be spilling over with stuff, and really play with the scale of the little canvas and having sort of like the blobs of paint sort of all over the place. And here I am circling, again, random words. I started with a graphite pencil, and then I later grabbed a colored pencil and used a colored pencil, again, just to add a little bit of contrast, a little bit of an extra layer. I liked the red. I thought it popped well against the crazy colors happening with the watercolor, and just to add, that little bit of an extra layer. Now, it's at this point that this little canvas could have gone in a couple of different directions, but I decided to keep things sort of clean and not go to the crazy mixed media side. I almost came in with like little bits of ephemera and tissue paper and was just going to like cover a lot of the background space, and I even thought about doing like the juice, the liquid, in like different types of paper and ephemera bits. But I decided, you know what, let me just get some paint, and I'll do heavy bodied paint, which you're seeing off to the side. I have a little trashy secret sketchbook that I've never shown anyone, or not yet. It's more to come on that later. But I like to use it as a palette sometimes. I have a little bit of heavy bodied white paint, and then I'm kind of tinting it with, or rather I'm tinting the colored paint with the heavy bodied white. Let's not get technical, but you get what I'm saying. I picked another color that I liked, that I thought, again, paired well with the hot colors or the bright colors of the watercolor. And I'm mixing it with the heavy body so that it gets that little bit of the color, but what I'm trying to get is that bit of a texture. I wanted it to look painted on and a little bit kind of thick, like the juice is really just like spilling all over the place and I have the blobs everywhere. And I think the fun part about, it being a little canvas like this is playing with all sides of the canvas, which is why I extended that, the book page paper all the way around the sides, really wrapped it up like a little Christmas gift, and then continued those blobs of juice basically onto the back and kind of all over the place, just to really make it feel a little bit more completed. Because I think the thing is, when you have just one singular piece of paper that you're putting onto a substrate like this, it can look a little strange. So to get that incorporation happening and to have it feel a little bit more part of it, I think this all over sort of painting really helps, in my opinion, I think. And you can see I'm playing here with where am I putting extra blobs, and I'm trying to keep things balanced as I'm working my way from bottom up, trying to add in these blobs. And I think originally I thought, maybe I'll just keep it on the lower half of it as though it's below the juice box. But once I got going, I couldn't stop, and I just kept adding these blobs kind of all over the place. You'll also see in a minute here too, is that once I got all the blobs on, I wanted to accent them a little bit. And rather than coming in with just a black pen or black ink, I picked up that colored pencil again and added a bit more of that detail work. As my little canvas project here gets closer to completion, I will let you know that I don't know if it's been selected yet. I think I'm supposed to be notified in a couple of days, but I will keep you posted if it makes it into the show. Who knows? I will also keep you posted on what little canvas I get in return. It should be kind of interesting. But hey, it was a fun little project, a good way to use up a design that I had, and it will be fun knowing that some other artist, again, pending this gets selected, will get this in return. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this little, pun intended, process. Feel free to like this video if you liked it, subscribe for more creative content, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!